starts now. Welcome to the Ryback Show live. I am the big guy Ryback. Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, streaming live here on Instagram and TikTok, the big guy Ryback22. Thank you guys for joining me on both those platforms over there. Instagram will end after 60 minutes there, so swinging over here to YouTube and subscribe over on Ryback TV, absolutely free, guys. Where you are the co-host of this show. The ebb and flow of the show goes where your questions goes. Health, fitness, supplementation, pro wrestling, life, sports, politics, and anything and everything in between. We are streaming live on Twitch at Ryback Rules and Facebook at Ryback Reeves. And this show is available on all podcast platforms. And I greatly thank each and every one of you that do listen to the audio version at a later time. iTunes reviews are greatly appreciated. If you have a moment to leave a nice, friendly review, the big guy says, thank you, thank you, thank you. This show brought to you by Feed Me More Nutrition, my premium supplement line, sweetened with stevia and monk fruit, no harmful artificial sweeteners or colors, vegan friendly for men and women, he, she, and thee on feedmemore.com. You can save 30% all new customers. Discount code Ryback30, Ryback30 on feedmemore.com. Returning customers can save 20%. Discount code FEEDME20, FEEDME20 at checkout. And you also get a free bottle of our 1-2-3 Muscle Joint Tendon Support, formula support, blah, 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 blah. I'm real motor mouth today. I was on a little bit of a roll there. That was good. But you get a free bottle of the 1-2-3. It was a free gift. Add to your cart, guys, and save on the best supplements on the planet. We've got all the cool Ryback merch on there, all the different stuff, the Feed Me More, the Hungry, the workout apparel that has nothing to do with me or Feed Me More or hashtag hungry, anything like that. And the sweaters, tank tops. The tank tops are nice. I've got a bunch more of those coming in. Try to get a little more workout footage. Looking pretty freaking jacked. And as we get a little closer and a little closer and a little closer, and keep things rolling. So check all that out. Your support is greatly appreciated with all that, guys. And super chats are greatly appreciated as well here on this show. You're brought up on the screen, a chance to get your channel shown here on Ryback TV. What an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Good to see all you guys. Right off the bat, Rican Pride says, big guy, when you coming back? Rican Pride just now found the channel. He's not seen anything that I've put out the last 6.5 years. Right off the bat, when you coming back? Yo, respect from Lower Michigan. My man, Lower Michigan. Hope everything's well over there. Probably pretty cold. I know a woman that lives back there. Looks like it's always freezing. One of Detroit's finest dancers. Twitchy says, do you still wrestle? Only in the bedroom? Not right now. I still train and do my conditioning as if I'm wrestling. The moment I get cleared for my shoulder, I will be implementing wrestling training back into my routine very quietly and getting ready from the darkness. And then I'll start booking myself in one-on-one. It's going to probably start doing. I actually get booking things that come in all the time, and I'm very tempted because some of them are like for later dates, and I'm like, I'm probably going to be cleared by then. But I also have dealt with this for so long that I'm like, let's wait till because I don't want to be like saying, hey, I can't do this. I can only do an appearance. And, but I do want to have a little run on the indies doing midget matches. I joked about it on Feeding Time. I gave it a lot more thought, and I go, no, I want this for this chapter in my career. I want to come back, and it's a great way to come back and do something that nobody's doing. Little people in the ring. Just start off with one, then we'll do 2 and 3 on one eventually. But I want to do it where like the little person's in the ring and they're a real heel. They're just really, really talking. Well, they can't really talk down to anyone. Well, if they're in the ring, the kind of talking down to the crowd and like those promos with the local talents with me where they'd be getting the heat, ripping on the local sports team, whatever, and then hit that Feed Me More music and come in and destroy the local little people. I want to run with that. I want to put those on Ryback TV, and I just want to kind of see how things go. I just want to see how I feel, how things go, and then from there start building. But I go, what a way to come back. And I think it's hilarious. and I joked about it, but I like joking about things and then making them come true. And thank you. Somebody says I haven't aged. I literally, I pretty much look exactly the same for the last like 12 years. So I'm sure I could. I've seen photos where I think I look older when I was younger, and then there's other times where you see and you're like, no, I probably have aged a little bit. And I'm sure it, but I have a pretty good routine of that I use for the face. I just had my four servings of black rice, the forbidden rice, secret of the Chinese on staying young, and back during their emperor times. The look it up. So I've done the things necessary to try to keep myself. I've not gone gray. My dad luckily didn't go gray until his 50s. I'm only 41. I feel better now than I have in my 20s and 30s, and I think it's going to be a really really cool thing that it's like out of a movie where you're like you know you always hear people say, man, I wish I wish I knew what I know now when I was younger. And then like, oh, but they go, but I wish I had the body I had when I was younger. I feel like I've been given a new body and knowing what I know, am in a very prime position with everything. And I've done all this labor to build my brand up kind of on the down low with everything and all this stuff going on, that it's going to be really cool. And I should have some nice options with in just life in general with things. So but you know, that's one of the things I never wanted to come back, nor would I think if I was like, if I couldn't do it, that's why I haven't. That's why Cody years ago, I told you guys with AEW years ago, messaged me to come in when he was there and when he was in that position. And I said, no, I can't. And he goes, can you just just do a meat hook and a shell shock? Son? And I go, no, I'm not even close to like being, I'm not going to just come get a pop and leave. I'm not coming back. It wasn't worth it. And that was just nothing official or anything, but that was just talk. And I've told you guys that many times as far as us talking when he was in that position, was the EVP or whatever there. So that doesn't even mean that it would have been a go or anything, but it was just like, I wasn't like, I'm not like sitting here just like, oh, I need to go to TV or this and that. It's like, I walked away. I need to get myself right. I'm like blessed to have gotten another chance and just be healthy. You know, I just took my dogs to the park earlier here up at 5 again this morning and got all that stuff, my work done early. And I'm just like walking around the park. Granted, it's a little cold. It's in the 30s today in Vegas, but I was like, man, it feels so good to feel good. Just to be able to, man, to be able to breathe through my nose. I never could breathe through my nose. To hear clearly, never could hear. All my adult life wrestling, my ear got blown out. My nose got broke. Never got it fixed. To not have my body like just hurting, not just like muscle aches, but like internally messed up, really, really messed up, and like where I was going to end up being crippled. It's like, this is cool. And now, so we'll see when everything though get that clearance, and it will. I'm in shape, and it will just be adding in ring training. I'll learn 50 different roll ups. I know how to do all my own stuff already. So I'll throw a few tricks in the bag, come back. Everyone's like, oh my God, Ryback got so much better. And really, I didn't. It's just the same old Ryback. But you throw a few tricks in there, people, they lose their can't try not to cuss their crap. Doesn't sound nearly as cool, but thank you. Yeah, I do Brazilian. I do think some people do it as trolling, asking me when I'm coming back. A lot of them don't because I get it in person too. That's why I know. You got to understand too. Those of us that see this, and there's thousands of people that see this, but there's billions of people on the planet. A lot of wrestling fans, they don't see the content when it's suppressed or shadow banned. You know, and so the people don't know, and that's what I just realized. I go, that's why I repeat it, is because it's like every new person that hears that, at least they're hearing the true version and not reading about something else, right? And that's where it's like, it's that's why a big motivator for me doing this stuff and talking to you guys is so you get to know me better than I want you guys to know me better than any other wrestler. This is my way of like I think forming a better connection, and that's why I'll keep doing this. I can't wait to do this and have thousands upon thousands of people in here live. hopefully getting millions of views at some point. I think that will be truly, truly amazing. And to be able to talk to people, like I'd rather talk to you guys and into you guys than talk to little dirt sheet reporters at little post-match press conferences, right? I'd rather just talk to real people genuinely and honestly. I think it's the best thing to do. And I bet you other people start doing it eventually when they realize how powerful it is. We're just being suppressed right now. That's gonna change at some point. Good to see all of you guys. 6'3" is big. I'm exactly 6'2" though, but in wrestling boots, I'm over 6'3" in wrestling boots, so it's not false advertising as far as that goes. But in barefoot, I'm 6'2". Congratulations, man! You say you were my inspiration to get in shape, eat better, and just live better altogether. I've gained muscle and lost around 40 pounds. Started at 240 pounds and now down to 190 for now, and I'm 5'10". Congratulations, man. That is like that's the stuff that makes me really, really happy with people that change their lives. And you realize it's just a lifestyle change, and it's a mindset, and it gets a lot easier as you do it. And it's just you continue to get better and you continue to make adjustments. And that's not to say you don't have some bad days or moments in there, but you've completely seen the power that you have and the ability that you have inside of you. And that's one thing that I just wish more people understood. And I understand why we don't know. And I didn't always think that all the time, a lot of the time, but like we have a power inside of us if we really could shift our mindset into a more positive mindset and understand that like life is energy and we are energy. We are, whether you want to call it God, the universe, the higher power, whatever you want to call that, the energy. And I believe there's positive energy and negative energy, but I truly believe we're all from the same energy source, whether we're human, whether we're an animal, whether just anything living. I believe truly we are all from the same energy source. And in that we have the power inside of us to with our mindset to make changes. And that I do believe that there's things that happen and that we are that things that happen that are out of our control. And like they said, there's a much higher power in that, but we are a part of that power. And if we can recognize that power inside of ourselves individually, we can do truly, truly great things. And that's what people that are successful have, that they've unlocked that in one way, shape, or form. And oftentimes, like when I see people, and like I've never been in awe of celebrities or anything. I've never been since I was a kid. I've just always understood that people work hard, and like it never, and it's not. I don't look down on that. I look at them as equal with that, but I look at them as like it's a mindset thing. And oftentimes when you meet people and you like they're in awe, they don't understand that they are the same, but the difference is mentally in the mindset part of it. And so that's one of the reasons why I want this and push this out, because not everyone's like me on that, but the mindset part, if I can help you unlock that a little bit and get that ball rolling, it makes the world a better place. So that's one of the reasons, because when we live in a crazy world and people distracted, and we've got to really the mindset is the key it's the key to happiness. And when people are happy, the world is a lot more peaceful. And I just think it's just trying to do the little part that I can in that, and it helps me as well. Super chats coming in. All right. I'll get to your question on who I think is gonna win. If not, ask it again if I do happen to forget, but on Charlotte and Rhea. Sweet Sugar Sugaru in the house. What's up, Ryback? I'm currently eating mac and cheese for lunch. Your thoughts? I'm also watching the new movie M3 Gin. What is M3 Gin? I've never heard of that. What are my thoughts on you eating mac and cheese? I hope it's low fat, eating all those carbs. But I will say mac and cheese was I enjoyed mac and cheese thoroughly growing up. My mom would sometimes buy like the Kraft mac and cheese, and we would sometimes have that in like hot dogs. My mom made like different dishes all the time. Like I had a very good childhood and ate very good, like a lot of healthy food. but she would also like make big bad like things of Rice Krispie treats and cookies, chocolate chip and oatmeal cookies, peanut butter cookies, in which I had a real problem. I would go eat the batter all the time. I used to have to like stay out of the kitchen, and like my mom used to put my sister on Ryan watch to make sure I didn't sneak into the kitchen. And even then, I'd get grounded sometimes. I was addicted to cookie dough when my mom would make cookies, and so and very selfish, and self admitted, very selfish. And looking back, and I'm a little disappointed in myself, but I was a kid and didn't really feed me more. Hashtag hungry. Like I couldn't help it. I was a growing boy. And so my mom, and I knew she would make more because she always did. So it really wasn't that bad. But for her time wise, you know what I mean? But she'd get the batter all made, and then I'd go in there, literally eat the whole batter out of a huge bowl. And then she would, Ryan. And then like I'd run out of the house and go like play at my friends for a couple hours and then come home and then eat the other cookies too. And yeah, so I got the belt a few times too with that when I was even younger. That was, I had a real problem. The Rice Krispies, I'd go in there just the Rice Krispies. I'd sometimes take the stuff like out of the oven early and like just eat it. Just didn't mean to like. And then I told you guys this story. My mom had to plead with me after my parents got divorced when I was younger. My mom, we always had cupboards full of food, but obviously my mom budget changed a little bit when that two different households, right? But we always had plenty of food. But I had just an appetite like no other. Like I just ate. I just ate and ate and ate. And like it's crazy. This became my thing in a whole other way for life, but it was my ability to eat all this food. I would eat bags of chips at a time. I would eat boxes of cereal. I would just be cooking and put things and just cook it and eat it all. And so food was going. We'd run out of food for the week. And my sister wasn't getting enough food. And she's like, because I was eating it all. And she was, don't get me wrong, she wasn't like starving or anything, but you know, there was a thing of fruit roll-ups. Oh, I'll just eat all the fruit roll-ups in one sitting and then go play outside. Always was in shape, always, but I just ate and ate and ate. You know, imagine you got how much cereal you got to buy for a week when you have a kid that would just eat a box of cereal in one sitting and like just every day. Oh, let's pour the whole bowl of Lucky Charms and blah 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 blah, all the milk. And it was just but I played so much outside and I was so active. I just wanted to I needed to be fed more. But my mom would buy the mac and cheese, Tyler, and she would then buy like the healthier, like organic versions at like the health food store that still really wasn't any better for you because it's all processed still. But I'd eat all that, and that was actually worse because it was just more expensive, and I'm still eating it like at the same rate. Someone says hello, Chips Guy. Hello, hope you're doing well. Oh, the movie's called Megan. Did you? Well, you put M3gan. I thought it was some sort of weird spelling. Some like weird M3gan. Hello, hello. I love it when we've got a fan that actually put his name as Cryback 69. Cryback, wham, 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 call wham, wham, wham. Call the wambulance for the big guy. Thank you. I'm not even going to block you right now. I'm going to wait till you actually make a comment that warrants a block. I appreciate you putting your name as that, though. That takes a little bit of effort. And the thought that you're actually thinking about me when you're not even here really makes me happy. One of the other reasons, too, I like blocking the people like you, though, is because when you block people like that, you leave a forever impression on them that is ingrained in their brain, whether they like it or not. Engraved in their brain. It lives on forever with it. They can't, they make other accounts, they follow you, and a lot of them can't even stay quiet on the other accounts, and they end up getting blocked and having to make like 5, 6, 7, 8 accounts to and they can follow for a little bit, then they get angry and have to say something really mean again, and then they try to just put it all out there, and they'll write like 10 paragraphs, and I'll just read like 4 words and delete it and not read the whole thing. It's one of the most amazing things in the world. And then they are actually the ones that are going to love me the most, like when I'm back. And like I saved like the person they like or do something, baby face, like that really just, they're going to be like, oh God, but he blocked me, but he saved Edge, and I like Edge. Edge is my favorite. And then they're just kind of like Ryback. And then they buy all my stuff and waited for the airport to get it signed. Can I eat sweet since I'm strong and I'm into fitness? Speaking of that, I've got 2 packs of Skittles that I told you guys like a month or 2 ago that was delivered by the grocery delivery, Instacart. They actually must have had like there were like 3 there was like a thing of cookie dough or not cookie dough, biscuit, a thing of biscuits, and I don't even eat biscuits, but I saved it. It's in my fridge still. I don't have the heart to throw it out. And it's a can of like the Pillsbury biscuits that and 2 packs of Skittles were in a bag. And I go, oh, that must have been some because they oftentimes will do like multiple deliveries, right? So they just must have grabbed one of the wrong bags. And I've just got those Skittles sitting in my emergency cabinet of food for an emergency. But I'm like, maybe I'll eat a pack of the Skittles before I go work out today because it's my carb day. But I like to usually that's what I forgot. I forgot to get them today. I've been getting the Rice Krispie treats also at Starbucks. Those are one of my favorite things in the world, as just talked about earlier. Super chat. Speaking of food, you see some athletes, even Triple H, say they just eat as fuel and no other interest in food. Come on, they can't be serious. Thoughts? No, I think that is. I think a lot of people are like that. I completely view food that way in the sense that life is energy, food is energy. But I think, like I do my cheat meal. I'm going to do it today. I'm going to probably get the Popeyes Ghost Pepper Wings or the Taco Bell new crispy melt thing. I was looking online, or the Big New Yorker from Pizza Hut, but I'll probably wait a week on that because I did 2 pizza ones a couple weeks prior. But I know like that stuff isn't good, and I've said it. And even doing like the vegan food stuff, which I'll still be doing on there, just not as much, but I'll still be doing it and mixing them in, depending on how the views go on things. That eating processed food like that is still not ideal as compared to eating at home. And one of the big problems that we have is, and you know, when I eat my vegetables during the day, like I'll eat my beets and my celery and my radishes, and the beets have a little bit of carbs. Like the whole can of pickled beets has like 15 carbs. It might even be like 12 with the fiber, so, but it's like 15 grams of carbs, which is nothing with that. Low calories, and then the celery is negative calories, and the radishes are pretty much negative calories, where that your body takes more to burn them and digest them that are actually in them. So it's eating negative calories essentially. It's a really, really cool thing. With that, you still count the calories in your day, but it's a great trick. But if people, I always think this: if we, in the people that do, if we just eat more of those vegetables and things and get our protein requirements and the amount of carbs that we need and that, and to stay how we want to have energy for the activities that we're doing. But our bodies, and I've seen it myself, you just get rid of any bad weight that you're holding on to, your body just burns it off. If we just lived off vegetables and protein, do you know how shredded and great everyone would look? It's and you'd be amazed at how much you enjoy it when you eat it more because you feel so good. You know that eating it, you're going to have more energy and feel better. You're not going to be sluggish. Your mood is enhanced. So it's like that food, then you realize that benefit of that food, and that overrides the addiction to the processed foods. But the less you eat these processed foods as well, the less desirable they actually are. Like I don't have these cravings for these things. Like I don't. But I actually look down on doing my food review for the week. Like I'm not genuinely excited. I like doing the video. Don't get me wrong, and the food does taste good, but I know I would much rather just eat my regular meals and not have to do that if I could, and not like because I know that there's no real benefit to that with it. But I also know that with how active I am and everything and how good my diet is all the other times, that it really probably isn't doing really any harm with that, right? And I go do the sauna and I do a 2-3 hour workout after. But people have that mindset, yeah. And I think it's when you get away from that food, you're not eating because you've see. I think this is a thing that a lot of people don't understand is the people that have that relationship with food where they eat food and they love the taste of the food, and that is a big deciding factor on why they eat that food. They rely on that food for their happiness. That is, and that's where it's a dependence in a way where they know like whatever's going on in their lives, that food makes them happy, and so that has become a source of happiness. Whereas people like me, we have other sources of happiness, so we're not missing out. That food is actually a depressant. It's the complete opposite for people like me and others that have gotten away and eat cleaner all the time and have other things though that make us happy. And that's why it's a mental thing with a lot of people that you have to find other things. It takes 21 days to typically form a new habit and to kind of start getting rid of old ones on that. So you have to be consistent and really try to switch. And if those that do completely change their lives with it, but it's, I look at things in every advantage that we can get in life. We're living in a life of distractions, and it's up to us to inform ourselves and educate ourselves and to get hungry, literally, to really for more in all areas of life, and not let other people sell us on their bad ideas or their bad items to distract and take us away from living a very fulfilled life. And those of us that can do that, we could enjoy that. I can go have an ice cream cone at a thing and go have a churro or go eat bad for a day at Disneyland because there's nothing else to eat. Not even I'm just going to eat whatever. And it's not going to harm me one bit with it. And I go completely back on track and keep living life. And right. Whereas other people, they just have to constantly eat that because it's that source of happiness every time. And then but it really is working against them. And then they're so addicted to it because of all the salts and the sugars and then how they balance that stuff out for the brain to be chemically dependent on it. That's why you got to have the fasting in there. You got to do things and get your blood sugar under control and just, you got to get away from it. But it's like the more you eat of it, the worse it gets. And it's those cravings you can't fathom. And I know that when I was younger, I used to I wouldn't be able to fathom doing 24, 48 or 72-hour fast or not having certain things, because not having my big bowl of cereal in the morning, sugar cereal, because you were so dependent on it. But then when you get away and you do other things over time, and then you get those results, and it's happiness is in other areas. So, and that's where too, a lot of people have to go see therapists and things that have this relationship and this dependence on food that can get started very early on in life, depending on your family and how you were raised, where it's like you have to tackle that hurdle to even be able to eat different. But that's where life is energy, food is energy, and the better energy that we put in our body, the better lives we're going to have. All overall balanced. Yeah, bad food causes anxiety and depression. Yep, no doubt. No doubt. Yeah, someone says, I don't eat for taste, I eat for function. Jay Cutler. Yep. And, obviously he knows as far as putting in the proper fuel to get the results. But that, people are going to live their lives the way that they choose to live their lives. And it's all we could do is hey, there's other ways also. If you're not happy with the way, hey, if that's how you do it and you're happy and you're not worried about anything or anything, that's your choice on that. You're not hurting anybody else, hurting possibly family members, kids and things if you're not there in the future. But that's a decision. It's not my business. Right. And so that's why I'll never choose to eat and be how you are. But it's just what I was saying earlier, though, when you eat healthier and you feel better, you tend to be happier. And so people that tend to be happier tend to be nicer. And I think that's one of the things, and we're seeing it like in all ages, from young, middle age to old on social media, is a lot of people are angry and upset and they don't have any ability to control themselves online. And diet plays a big part of that. A lot of people, the majority of people that talk trash online too, a lot of that are people that can't physically do it or out of shape, or they've been this or that, but they're not every single one of them, but a lot of them on it, and it's they're angry, and they can go online and lash out and say whatever with no repercussions for the most part still, and right. But happy people that are doing well, that feel better, and just typically tend to have a better mindset. They understand like toxic behavior, toxic mindset and things, and they tend to understand like it's better to try to make people feel good than to feel bad, because when you try to make other people feel bad, you end up making yourself feel bad. And so it really ties into a lot of things. The best fat burner, hands down, is the Shell Shock weight management formula on feedmemore.com. And there's not another company. We have the number one fat burner. We have the best products overall everywhere. There's not, I'm telling you, there's not another company doing what we're doing with it. And just you can look at the ingredient labels and look at the amount of milligrams that we use of the ingredients, and then go look at your favorite company, and it's not even going to be close. Hello, hello. Doing well. Thank you very much. Yeah, this is a good one. I think we've talked about this. I remember that one time on WWE Swerved show, they wanted to prank you, but you weren't having it. The security guy wanted to stop you from getting inside. Yeah. So I don't know if I've ever told the whole thing on this. I think we have on a question on it. It might have been a live, or it was something. And I did the Swerved with Kofi and with AJ Styles and the little kid, right? We did that after. This one I think was before, and I don't even know if they showed it. Did they show it? And I think they did show it, and I was upset they even played it. I think that was a paper. We were in Chicago. It was a pay-per-view day, if I'm not mistaken. And so we're already, tensions are high. I'm waiting to get my stuff. I've got to go out. I'm on the pay-per-view. And we're in Chicago because I remember there's a huge rampway up to get to catering. And I'm in catering, eating my food and having a coffee and some water. And Kofi and me have always got along really well, as I do with the majority of people there, and joke around. And like, we don't never like hung out or anything, but we always got along. And if we were about near each other, we'd hang out and talk. And I was by him in catering, and he came up this particular time, and he made up a story that I don't know if he said if it was his son's. I believe he said it was his son, and it was his birthday or something. And I was one of his favorites. There was something, and where just of course, and go to a phone call for his kid, but he wanted. I think they got me outside with it, where so we're not away. So because I think he had me like, I don't know what it was, but you're not going to do it in the middle of catering. So there was a doorway to go outside. So me being the nice guy that I am with this, I go out there, and of course to go do the thing. We do the call. Like, actually did it, the whatever, but it was all set up. It wasn't really his birthday or whatever, and or it was, and it was just a way to get me out there. And then we go back inside. So you got to remember, I've been in every building. We've been in everything all the time. Go outside whenever you want. When you're on the premise of outside of getting in the gates, you can go out the doors. So instantly, I already knew that this was something was just not right. But I didn't know it was part of the show or anything. So we get out there. There's this big, huge security guy out there that I think I don't know if I had my back turned, if they sent him out, or I don't know what it was. There was something, or somebody was by the door inside. They locked the door. You'd have to go back and watch. I can't remember how we got to the security guy, but it was essentially they let everyone in, but I wasn't allowed back in. I didn't have credentials with it. And I was mad because it was wasting my time, because I wanted to get in waiting to get my stuff. I don't like promo. Like, I needed, I take that stuff very serious. I have a routine with it. I'd eat my meals at a certain time and go find your space. And so but I'm mad because of, obviously, and I don't think this while this is going on, but it is why I'm mad. I just want to go in. I don't like my time when just things like this being wasted. And like Kofi and them were in, so it's just common sense. Like, this is no. This ain't. I don't know what's going on. And like, the guy didn't want to let me in, but I think the guy was actually scared because I wasn't. Like, it didn't faze me one bit. And well, we're gonna fight then. Like, there's nothing else. Like, I'm going back inside one way or the other. I don't care how big you are. Like, it does not faze me. It actually gets me. I think I'm even better in that position. So it's like they just got back in. Like, the guy, they didn't stop me from coming in, and then they tried to tell me it was a thing. And like with Kofi, I'm not mad at Kofi at all. I love Kofi, so I didn't direct anything with that. And but the other person, whatever, I told them what I thought right then. And it wasn't like a haha, oh, you got me sort of thing. Like, I was pissed because I had so much was going on with the company, with the contract. There was a lot going on. And like, I was after all this stuff that you guys had seen creatively and all that, and I'm in a ton of pain. Like, not happy. Like, that wasn't, if that show was done in 2012, that or something where like before like the tensions and the other things started building, it probably would have been me laughing at the end with that. But at that stage of the game, like I'm not putting up with anything with that, and because there's way more important stuff going on. And then I went and I told that guy Carano, who's no longer there, who I just have. He's one of the lowest human beings on the totem pole, and you're not going to hear another talent talk good about him. Just an absolute snake and horrible human being, disgusting human being, and not anybody I have any respect or anything. And just we'll get past him. But he's that dirty little like in between guy for them, and I made sure he understood full well. You do not ever do that to me again, and not there like because we're not even getting paid for that stuff. They were that was before like weren't getting paid. I go, you're going to come in and try to mess with me on a pay-per-view day? No, it's not going to happen. Like, and by the way, like in me being who I am, and luckily I'm who I am. I'm not playing like I'm not scared. I'm not a fearful person. But what if I would have looked bad in that? And what if I like would have like would just say I would have act like looked bad. Like that guy would have like really punked me out on that. And then they go show that, which I'm not even getting paid for. But what is that? What would that have done to my character for the TV? Right? With that. And that's where I told that to them. I go, what are you guys doing? Why are you trying to make your talent look bad? I love to laugh. I love to joke around about things and whatnot. But I go, this kind of stuff? And I go, no, but do it where they switched. I think that's when they realized we did the thing with the kid eventually the next year or whatever. Like they changed of the stuff I told them. I go, you don't do that to people. You're not paying anybody. You're making your TV talents look bad. I go, what if I would have got teary eyed and got scared or something? Granted, they probably realized that wasn't going to happen, but just what if somebody reacted that way? And then you go put that in like you're damaging your own brand. Why? It's unnecessary with it. So that was like there was a lot going on with that. But as you saw, like I'm more than happy to be a part, and I love that stuff but I was like, I just don't like little things. And Kofi wasn't attached to this at all because Kofi, like they were getting other guys and pranking other guys. And I think it's funny doing other pranks, but like that sort of thing with like, I just thought it was not in good taste on that with everything. And it being a pay-per-view day, do a SmackDown where if it wasn't like, it was before the show was live if it wasn't, but like SmackDown was always more laid back. Do it at a damn live event where everything is not, it's more likely you're going to get a better reaction out of that. But, but like, I'm just like that was being done to punk me out though, just for everyone. Like they tried to get me without knowing to punk me out with that to, why too, and I'm just to let you guys just so you could see why where there was the deeper, why wouldn't you do that to a talent where that wouldn't have been the case, like where they might have been a little, why not maybe see if Kalisto or one of like the smaller talents, and you have the big huge security guy, even though you shouldn't do it to any of your talent with that, right? It's not getting, especially I'm a baby face at the time with it. It's not even like I'm a heel, I'm a baby face at the time, and I just go, I don't get it, and that was the end of that. And they knew very well that not to want no effing part of this. But I think they still, I think they played it on the thing, and it made me look tougher. I thought so, whatever, because it was real. That's why, fine, you guys are gonna try to get something to backfire on me. It ends up actually turning negative into a positive. Oh, Ryback is like his character. I'm glad to know he's not a little PUSSY. Yeah, they messed with Seth Rollins the same on WWE swerved and got into a really big argument. Yeah, it will ruin your day with that. But like, what if I would have reacted to that guy like, and I like ended up putting my hands on him, or he wasn't as professional, and I go to get by him and he like grabs me and he goes to grab me, then I'm gonna drop him. Like, what if that would have happened? You never know. Then what do I have a lawsuit on my hands? Does WWE have a lawsuit? It's stupid. Just on they know that in that environment too, and that's where I made sure that, and I explained all of this, and with a lot of F bombs probably attached to it, that like you just, it's not the place to do it. guys, you have guys who are good moods, bad moods, depending on things going on. And I was not in a good mood in general with a lot of the things going on. So even though I was very happy, I was never let that. But like I wasn't one day like for games like that. I dropped a super chat. Let me see here. I'll get to that YouTube one. Sweet Sugar Sugar. I missed another super chat. He says, let me. Here we go. Tyler's top 8 favorite movies: Goodfellas, Halloween, 8 Mile, Shawshank Redemption. 8 Mile and Shawshank Redemption. I like both those movies. The Lost Boys, Grown Ups, Freddy versus Jason, and Casino. Freddy versus Jason is another one I really like that movie a lot too. So at least 3 of those that I have that are in a list of like my movies that I really enjoy watching and would watch if they came on TV. Like I'll stop and watch a little bit of it. I've never seen Goodfellas. I don't even know if I've seen the original Halloween. I've seen one of the versions. I don't remember which one. I think I've seen The Lost Boys. I think I've seen Grown Ups. I'm not sure though. In Casino, I don't know if I've seen all of Casino. I think I might have seen part of it, believe it or not. Great movies, Tyler. I would have Terminator 2 on there. There's something about Mary, probably Step Brothers. There's a lot though. It's like I said, I'm really hard. Like, I just have a list of things I enjoy. It's hard to sometimes just say all-time favorites or this or that. Super chat. Aaron's on Tube. Is it? Yep. Aaron's on Tube. Thank you, Aaron. Yo, what's your opinion on YouTubers boxing? It's become huge. It brings attention to the sport, but could be bad for real boxers who get sidelined. No, there's nothing you can do about that. I'm all for people, if people can do what they want to do on that sort of thing. And you guys got to remember, don't buy into that whole media thing, like YouTubers and people that if they're boxing, they're boxing. And they're taking lessons, or they're even though they don't have the training time of somebody. But all amateur boxers that start out just training and getting fights. And I think the problem that people have is people they're coming in and getting a lot of attention because they have followings. So here's the deal: if you're an amateur boxer, why aren't you hustling on social media? This should be motivating to boxers and people that, hey, get famous online by showing your personality and putting effort and making content. And then when you go do other stuff, guess what? People will follow you. And that's all that it is. It's them. They're jealous and insecure of the attention they're getting doing it. These people are just, some of them that if they stick with it can get really good doing it. It's just applying an effort, which it takes effort to do social media. Do you see what I'm saying? So that boxers need to use that. When you start your boxing career, you should probably make sure you start every social media account too. And you just dedicate a little bit of time to it each day and try to get that going and built while you're doing your training. That's all that it is with it. Who won it? Jake Paul. Whether he's had a successful career in other things and going on successful social media and YouTube, he has made a lot of money fighting and taking risk, and he's gotten a lot of attention, and he's getting big fights, and got a big fight this weekend in Tommy Fury, which will be his biggest test yet. And because everyone's saying he can't beat a real boxer and this and that, even though he is a real boxer, he's doing it. So it's a made up thing too. When you hear the YouTubers they're boxers. The moment they start, they're just amateurs, and then some are better than others, and that's all that it is with it. But people like to label things and put it's not. It's all just jealousy and insecurity with it. But hey, they're putting their lives on the line and the risk. If Jake goes in there and gets knocked out his first 2 or 3 fights, he's not doing what he's doing. He's probably going to move on to something else. He'd probably find something else to become successful at, because people with that mindset just you just keep trying and keep doing, and you figure it out and you find your thing eventually with it. But he's the one who's gone out there. He's taken the chance, right? You guys all know if he goes out there and you get knocked out by another quote unquote YouTuber or somebody that's done playing football or whatever it is, who's not a full-time boxer in people's eyes, then you're like, oh, they got embarrassed, they're destroyed. But like competitors and people don't realize, they don't look like that. They don't think like that with it. They go with opportunities. They try things. They don't have that fear factor decided in. And he's gone out and look what he's done. He's beat top former UFC champions and like in other fighters. And it's people who they're not real boxers. No, they are. They trained also. They're just all amateurs. They're the beginning of their boxing careers, just like all amateur boxers that were the beginning of their careers at one point in time. Just way more attention, way more money, and that's all. So, but that's the boxers and people that if they're upset at it, and it's just take your attention off of that. And what can you do to get more attention for yourself outside of just boxing? That's the advantage that they've realized, the other guys, with it. There's a reason why I hustle on this, and I'm one of the most followed on there, and constantly will outwork any other talent in the field on posting and on the effort, on the things. How many other podcasts are constantly with like, look, I can keep going. I'm doing a lot of other things, and it's you got to put the effort in. But you get this. There's a reason to have this attention and to have this connection. It's a very powerful thing that you have to take advantage of if you really want to really lead the pack and get the attention that you want. Super chat. Thank you very much. The big this is the Omega J. The big guy recently started working out and on week 3 and boy does it take some dedication, but I will be in shape one day. 100. Also favorite dog breed. Good job, first of all. It will get easier, and you will continue to build. You'll get results. You just got to stay consistent. And like I said, it's like there's a 21-day rule for starting new habits, and you're right around that period. Just keep it going. And the big thing is realizing even if you fall off or things, keep going, get back on track. Don't let too much time go by, and hop back on the horse and just keep moving, man. Keep learning and applying, and you're just going to keep getting better and better. And watch videos online, YouTube, of different fitness pros and people with exercises. If you're not sure how to do them, learn. If you're going to be doing squats and different things and deadlifts, I would suggest staying on the lighter side and really working on form and learning and watching videos on people, power lifters, on what they do to brace their core, on breathing in prior to the lift, on proper breathing patterns in general in lifting. It's a very thing when you do. Not a lot of people put a lot of time into learning it. It's one of the most important things because it should be a part of all of our lives and it will enhance our lives. But there's often, like, whenever we go to baseball, if you want to do a sport or a hobby, you kind of take courses from a pro, right? But with fitness, people just kind of go in and try to figure it out, and you can get really hurt, unfortunately, with that, especially when you on anything with no weight, but specifically when you're dealing with weight and stuff. And so it's important to kind of have an idea prior and as long as while you're doing it to keep learning and getting better. And my favorite dog breed, man, I had I've loved all my dogs in growing up. I love all dogs. I'm really a dog person. I love animals, but dogs in particular. And I've had Labradors, mixed pit bull labs, pit bulls, pit bull mixes, and the Frenchie with Sophie and the ex with Sonny, and little guys of Boston. I really enjoy Sophie and little guy, that the mix, the combo of having a Frenchie and a Boston. I just think there's such amazing, hysterical, personality driven dogs. Like they take after me on certain things and their behaviors at times. And like, it's they're little clowns though. And their energy levels. I just love it. I would love more Frenchies and Bostons with it. And but I follow a lot of the Frenchie accounts. Like whenever I just see a Frenchie, they just make me smile. And they all just have I could see differences in most of them, but they look similar. And a lot of them have similar personalities. And it's just like Sophie. It's absolutely. I've never had a tougher dog than Sophie. She's a Frenchie, and she doesn't whine, she doesn't cry. when she's hurt and all her disc issues and ruptures and surgeries. And I've never seen like a more little just perseverant, determined dog. And it's crazy. We went through all our stuff when I was at my worst physically, and it gave me great motivation in seeing her. It's crazy, but like seeing a little dog that, like they said, should have been put down. Most people after 1 or 2 ruptures was paralyzed twice and has had double-digit ruptures, which and has been great now for last year and a half, 2 years, knock on wood. But she's ruptured pretty much all of them. But to see her bounce back and to be living a normal life, and like I just go, wow. Like that's never, like she would always come off her pain medicines really quick, and she never whimpered or cried even after surgery. She just, you could just tell she was hurt, but she wouldn't ever like, you wouldn't hear her. And I just go, what a just, it's amazing, just amazing. Somebody says we have seen a major. We have a major we have seen a major muscular change in The Rock. Do you think that he wants to be built like John Cena? Which John, those really muscular too. I would even say possibly more muscular, even though he might be of a little smaller stature, different build too. Rock's physique has changed though. With one, he's getting older, as everyone, we all are. But so that changes as time goes on. And obviously, and you've heard Rogan talk about it, like with Rock and steroids. Like, look, we've seen, we just, it doesn't take a rocket scientist on anything, right? He looks amazing, absolutely great, and just his body, his physique has changed as he's been in Hollywood though for different roles. And if you look at the movie he did with what's his name? I like him, the actor Mark Wahlberg. What was the movie about the bodybuilding stuff? Like he's jacked in that movie. Like they both were with that, and you don't just make like differences and right in that. And actors have been known for roles and to lose weight and gain weight in that. And if you look like back when he was in WWE in different periods, which still was absolutely enormous and huge and muscular, body fat higher at different points and whatnot, but it always looked great still, regardless. But even when he first got into Hollywood and some of the Disney movies, you look at some photos of that, thinned out a lot for him, even though he was still a very massive human being compared to your average person. For him, his physique had adjusted with that. So who knows? He might just have different roles if he's thinning down a little bit or dropping a little bit of the mass. But you got to also when he did the Black Adam movie, he looked pretty big from some photos I saw of that, pretty vascular and jacked up. So like that's where like the supplementation and things clearly are altered in where it's probably more just TRT, HRT in the normal range if being healthy, and if the physique is dropped down drastically or from what it was. That's all that it is. And it's not so. He looks great though. He's doing great things. And I think they're really smart with the XFL making that connection to the NFL as a kind of like a developmental program. And that will ensure that that league is taken care of, which will more likely, when it's taken care of, become profitable for him in one way, shape, or form. And maybe not right away, but much sooner, as if they were like competition or trying to really take over a market share. And so I just think he's a smart guy, man. And he's very driven, obviously, and he's very hungry, and he's like he's doing great things with that. And he's also I'm happy when you it's cool to see people like that, though. Like the thing, he loves football, and clearly he has a love and a passion for football, as he did that prior to wrestling, right? And both of them are in his blood, essentially, and with that. But I love in this way, people, you can have multiple passions in life, but I love that he's like now giving back and giving people opportunities, and he's taking a chance financially and things, but it's giving back as well. You're making money, but you're providing income for all these players that wouldn't have it, and all the coaches and the staff and TV executives and people. It creates jobs as well. And so you'll never hear me ever say a bad thing about anyone like him, what he's doing. He's helped a lot of people. He's the biggest star in wrestling. Like obviously I was more even I loved both him and Stone Cold growing up, and they were, to me, it was always neck and neck, but Stone Cold always seemed to me like it was just, and I've seen him in person here in Vegas when I was younger, and Stone Cold always seemed like the he had the upper hand as far as maybe creatively booking and numbers wise. But The Rock was like, I think The Rock though just I think it even motivated him more, and all the success he had, that just like where he's just like catapulted himself above any other wrestler as far as what they've done overall from the time in wrestling to after it. And it's a great, and clearly you can see it inspired Cena to go that route, and he's doing his deal and in doing the things that he wants, and that's it's great. You make money, and when you can give back and help others in the process too, it's a cool thing. Super chat. I do have sleep apnea. I've been on it since probably 2014. Highly recommend everybody get a sleep study done, and it will drastically change your life. I'll tell you more about that in a second. Sweet Sugar Sugar says, who'd win in a fight, Bruce Lee or John Rambo? Man, I don't know. Man. But Bruce Lee, there's people that buy into it, others that don't. I've got a poster of Bruce Lee up. Regardless of what anyone thinks about him, the man looked like a machine and was ripped to the bone. And that comes with a very, very high level of discipline and a work ethic that I have him up there upstairs of one of my photos. I have of motivating things I have around my house. We'll go Bruce Lee on that one. Yeah, The Rock has said he has zero desire in politics because it's not his lane. He's a smart guy. He knows the deal too of the way things work, and anyone that goes into that, you can have the purest and best intentions in the world. When you are dealing with the elites and the people with the most amount of money and power on this planet, and you realize that the politicians are essentially working for them, and then you now can't stay true to who you are and your values. Yeah, sure, you might make a lot more money, but with him and a guy like that, he can inspire and do more good staying out of politics. A Tony Robbins guy, the guys like that, Gary Vaynerchuk, to me, are more powerful than any political figures because they have massive reach and they do good and they inspire people but there's not like this, and they help people much more than politicians and people. But like they don't got that people. You're not instantly going to be hated, even though you're going to have love and hate from people regardless. You're not into that where people just hate you based off whatever political affiliation you have to go with, right? With all of that, which is just, he's smart. He's a very smart guy. He'll have a more enjoyable, healthier life out of it, and that's what I've said. I wouldn't wish that life on me. It's just, I don't know what inspires people to do it, and unless there's what I've seen, and this is the people I've seen that have gotten into politics that I have known are that, and like known, they're the worst people. They're not good people, and I always find it funny. I go, I wonder if that's the story with all these other people. Because I was I've seen, I'm like shocked. I'm like, wait, they're running for this? Like, no. And so yeah, it just makes you wonder like how many are like that do it. And so, smart guy. Let me see. I think I missed another. I want to get. Hello, good to see all of you guys. Nicholas says, why do you think it's hard for 90% of people to maintain healthy eating and a fitness lifestyle? Do you think it's genetics, or have we been trained to consume junk and be lazy? Yeah, no. So the reason why it's difficult is because the majority of people have just been programmed that way, and we are in an era where this was not the case even 100 years ago, even though every generation it changes a little more, humans keep striving for more, keep making advancements, keep making life a little easier. We keep, like, look, we just keep evolving. And humans, we're doing it now with AI, and we're like, everything's becoming automated, and we just keep finding ways to make things a little easier and a little easier. And that's fine. The key is, though, you have to have that drive and that work ethic. You have to have the mindset still. You use this stuff to enhance our lives, to make our time, we have more free time to then do good things and be active, or do that, but not to, don't let it go in a negative way. Don't let it take us over. Don't let it become our identity, that we're just always looking for the easy way or laziest way, with it. Look, just a random thing, can openers come out. Can openers, what an invention, and allows food to be stored in with things added, preservatives, and you just got to do the can opener. And that, maybe would that stab something? Who knows how people, if they were cans, even though can openers probably coincided with cans. But then we come out with electrical can openers with that, right? And then now it's even less work. And then there's ones you don't even have to then lift it up and hook it in. You can just slide it, just set it in, and it hooks in. And like things and that's just a small example of technology, and things then just getting easier and easier and easier, right? With that. So I think what we're born, and we're with television and now social media and phones and everything, but whatever it was, and you just imagine how much more focused in the moment people were before TVs, before radio. Everything was human interaction. Everything required movement. Everything. So by default, everybody was, much, much more locked in. At that time, books would be a thing which is to learn, but would at least set something to distract you from everyday life with things, right? Where now you're born into this world of like all this technology. Now it's dependent on your parents and what they believe and how they are. So you're instantly getting programmed from birth, essentially, when you start getting old enough to recognize screens and hear and understand different sounds, and right. So that's happening, and that distraction's being built in. And then you've got food, all the processed food, all the commercials, all that's in that programming, which is why I mentioned it's tied into all this with that. And so then you're eating what you think is normal from birth on. If your parents just go, money plays a factor too, what people can afford. Junk food is cheaper, way cheaper to eat, the food with the least nutritional quality, things like that. And so you're instantly being fed the stuff that we're not meant to eat. You're being pushed into this programming that we really is not good for us in any way, shape, or form. If there's no balance, if we don't have this system structured properly, which is dependent on our parents and things as a kid. So you're built into a lazier programming, essentially, by default. And then it's up to you. You have to figure out how to get out of that, or you have to figure out, now we have this information. And like our parents, when our parents grew up with it a little bit, my parents with me, it was a lot more prevalent and than it was with them. Generation after more. And so it's up to you. Like, we've got to get it figured out. And it's not genetic, I believe, in any way. And sure, maybe there's specific things in hormonal or different chemical imbalances where that can exist for some people, and probably does with that, right? And there's different thyroid conditions and things where people are more prone, but just in general with that, we all have the ability to eat a healthier, cleaner diet. The foods that we were given on this planet, and having a balanced diet, and it's activity levels and movement and doing things right. We all have the ability to do that, but it's the mindset, and how some people are so far down the rabbit hole on that they've just dug and dug and dug, and that's their normal. Their normal is they've got to take 100 steps to just get to ground zero. It's a lot of work, and now you have to ask, do you want to do that work? And those that take that chance, again, drastically change their lives. So that's just my opinion, but I see it, and we all have distractions, man. Everything, and it's just becoming aware of it and trying to stay on track as much as possible while this technology and everything continues. It's addicting, and it's going to get more addicting for a lot of people with it, and just trying for us to live in the real world and inform ourselves and make the best decisions possible more often than not. there's no money in healthy humans. Yeah, but they can't control that. We control that if we we still, at least to a big degree, have control over that. So we have to, no one's forcing us to do that stuff. I think when you're kids, it's a little different, but once we become of age, no one's forcing us to be hooked on it anymore. We got to eat, but we got to wake up and want more. And but that's where I told you they're getting people 100 steps deep, 100 feet deep before they even, when they realize, like, I got to make a change. And it's very hard. Your brain, and that's where, like, I think things like fasting, intermittent fasting, and learning about and eating less processed foods, that stuff you will clear out of it, and those cravings will go down. Not to say you don't still do it here and there, but you just you start shifting it into a favor of power for yourself. Underactive thyroids do suck. I recommend people, and this has helped me. I've seen the blood work change, the lab work. Coconut oil, 2 to 3 tablespoons a day. Get coconut MCT oil. It will our body. It's a very efficient fuel for most of us, and I've seen it. And there's a lot of different people that they'll sit there and say, like, there's no real research or this and that. I'll tell you what, I don't give a damn about any study. I care about what my own lab work shows. That's the best study any of us could ever do. You can look at all the data we want to look at for anything. At the end of the day, we have to make a decision. That data is just, do we want to, helps us make hopefully a more informed decision if it wasn't affected in any way, shape, or form. But I know, once I know that I've seen it with my own lab work, I go, oh, this works. That's why that article probably exists, because they went and did it also. But then somebody comes up, well, we have no real studies of this. There's no better study than the study of yourself with your own lab work. Okay. And that's why I've seen it take low thyroid levels in myself after being on fat burners when I was younger for too long, and then restoring it to high normal in a matter of months, 2-3 months, and staying that way on all my lab work. And I take 2 tablespoons every day with my eggs on that, and first thing in the morning. And it is a great fuel. It's great to take for people. People put it in their coffee, but it's a great thing if, like, you are into and do like a lower carb diet. But even if you just have your carbs and fats mixed and balanced in, if you just do like a black coffee with like 2 tablespoons of MCT oil or 3, you're going to have so much more energy working out, and your strength is going to be better. Just try it. I'm telling you, it is, for people that don't know, it is a real, like, I noticed after I started taking it again, like, it really, endurance wise, you just have extra oomph on it. Like, you recover just a little quicker. It's because you've got really good energy that your body is able to use really efficiently on that. So that would be my suggestion for anyone with low thyroids. Granted, you have no health conditions or allergies to coconut oil or anything coconuts. Sweet Sugar Shugru busting out his parents' credit card with the $10 super chat. You gave your pups theme songs. Now I'll give them attires and finishing moves. Their attire will be a singlet with their faces on them. Their finishers are puppy bomb and puppy spear. LOL. I like them with the singlets with kind of like Big Papa Pump when he had his face, or Buff Bagwell when they had their the airbrush faces. That's what they would have. They would have that airbrush theme of their own little faces on their singlets. What I would even do is, since they're a tag team, Sophie would have little guy's face airbrushed on her singlet, and Sophie would have her face on little guy's singlet, because they got each other's backs. Look at us, Tyler, just coming up with gimmicks for the dogs. Thank you very much. Always greatly appreciated. When I return, will I wear the same attire? Yeah. I've got my airbrush singlets. I've got a couple brand new ones just sitting ready to go. And I've tried them on. Everything fits. I'm in essentially the same shape. I will, once I can train a little heavier and things with the shoulder just keeps getting better and better, I'll fill out a tad more. And well, my legs are enormous right now. Well, that calves always are with that, and very lean. But like I have all this stuff. The airbrush boots, all that, and I've got new laces and everything, because old laces can snap from being dried out and not being used in so long. And I've got all like the armbands and gloves, and I'm sure some of that might over a little change. I've got my own Feed Me More nutrition gloves we sell on feedmemore.com. Like those would be worn, and I've got a ton of them. So it's like I could always just give those out after the match. And then but I'll probably, even because I've got all my connections with in China for different stuff for Feed Me More Nutrition and feedmemore.com. I can get armbands made, all this stuff. I would do all that and sell it on my own no matter what anyways. And I got to order, I'll get custom armbands done, and they'll be very similar, just be different colors, because that was my one thing I hated. I didn't like how they didn't give different colors on those armbands. I wanted the different colors for the thing, but they ordered so much of that orange red. We had those in stock forever. And then they switched to a light orange that I didn't like as much. They had a different distributor. Those weren't as comfortable. I used to have to wrap tape around them because the edge of the Velcro would like cut into me during the matches. It was annoying, that Velcro. The Velcro strip was longer than the other one. The other ones I wouldn't even have to change. They just fit me perfectly. But the new ones I had to like adjust. They had a long Velcro strip. But yeah, I would have all that stuff and sell. And I'd probably even get different gloves made so I could sell different ones on the website and everything. There's a lot of money in merch, especially when you're active on TV. And that's why another thing in owning everything. I don't think people realize. I mean, ideally, I didn't want to have to be out like I did with everything. But, hey, how many people have been blessed with the ability to heal a 5-disc fusion and shoulder replacement and like literally get all better? So I'm not complaining. But that stuff will be very valuable to me once I'm doing stuff. Thank you. I had a great time with Curtis Axel and Ryback. Great memories, and we still talk. Somebody says, "Hey, Ryback, how do I get more subscribers and viewers on YouTube?" I'm asking for advice. Well, you've got to post all your content. You do everything on YouTube. Take advantage of the shorts in your stories on there, and focus on just building a relationship with the community that you have and the following that you have. I like to like all the comments. I like to show people, and I do every single one of those. And they have the app that makes it very easy for me to go in there, and it feeds me all the comments. I've liked every comment outside of any that have been left since the last like. I'm like a machine. I'm able to boom, boom on it, like the comments. I can literally just see anybody that's anything, boom, hide them off the channel. Very quick, very efficiently, though, just to go down and like those. And it's just my way. And every once in a while, if I see something, if I have time to respond, if I could think of it, boom, move on, keep doing all the other stuff. You acknowledge the following that you have to the best of your ability to let them know, and you don't have to talk, don't have to take a lot of time, just here and there. And with that, but I would focus on having a social media account, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat if you can, and your YouTube. And obviously YouTube, I think, is important, so important with the way you can monetize things and truly get value with your content with that compared to the other platforms. And you just you connect everything, and I have my style, and I put out my stuff, and I like to do the funny stuff. I like to do the shorts, and it's helping. It's really boosted the channel, as well as the content that I do, that I stay true to myself. But you got to stay consistent and daily make posts, and you have to set the time aside. And this is a morning to night thing I do. And I set aside specific time in the morning, and then all throughout the day, whenever I can get it in, and like a machine, because I know how important it is. And I'm boom, I have everything ready to go. And then when I stay, when I need to do my things, I have my breaks away from it, and I'm cool. When I go out, I do my things. I go get my coffee and go take the dogs. The phone is in my pocket the whole time. And I've got other things where I just keep it away. When I go to bed at night, it's away. In the morning, don't look at it, keep it in, take it, put it right in my pocket, come in. I do all my morning stuff with the dogs, make my food, and then I get going and work and stuff. And I just make sure there's just different periods, when I do this, I'm not away from it as far as anything with that. When I'm at the gym, I do use it and go from a few things on there, but oftentimes it's just kind of staying away as much as possible, and to where, but you got to put that effort in, though, And you know, I don't use it. I don't waste a ton of time in getting caught up in the comments, and I'll still do it. I do see a lot at times, but like where I just stay away, where I'm like, if I ever think that I'm like agitated or anything, I'm like, I just now have a built-in mechanism where I'm like, oh, I'll stay away from it for a couple hours, few hours, and then it just completely subsides, and I'm able to just, because it keeps me where I can just keep doing all my stuff, right? Because too, I hate too, like TikTok and stuff is the worst, because TikTok will feed you the new comments on your page, on the inbox thing, on the like, and it doesn't always pop up. It's dependent on the timing, and that's where I see a lot of it. Where if you see something and it's just a boom, hurry, quick, block, move on with it. But like I was like, if you sometimes will get a few in a row, you're just like, oh, you little marks, and then it's like, boom, take a little break, go back, and then it always subsides. But you got to just hustle, man, and you don't need to have the biggest following to do good. Hello, hello. I don't know. We have to wait and see what happens with Andrew Tate. It's crazy, that whole thing, and I'm not aware of any recent developments outside of, I know that they had him detained, right? And I don't know. I don't know him. You know, I've talked about his videos. I think he says a lot of great things. I think he's said other things that can be controversial, but I think he's also been taken out of context at other times on things. Some things he hasn't been, and I think a lot of people see things. He got wildly popular, and he didn't do anything wrong on that end. I don't know though the other legal stuff going on, how legit or not legit anything is, and so that's why I've kind of just seeing what happens and plays out. And even then, I'm not going to form any judgment. It's just that let the law take care of itself, and keep living life to the best of my ability. Ryback, how can I be a WWE superstar minus the injuries? Just dress up as Halloween as your favorite superstar would probably be my best advice. Omar Martinez, thank you for the super chat. What was your stance on getting a sleep test done? What was your stance? I mean, I knew I most likely had sleep apnea. It was WWE. I became aware of it, like they're sleeping on the airplanes, where anyone that would be on a plane with me and they wrestled. I know they would tell me I snore pretty loud on the thing, and I'd have to get my sleep on those planes, and you know, coming in early, getting a couple hours sleep in and out of Vegas and back home, off SmackDown back home, and I had my neck pillow and my headphones on, and I'm out. I mean, I go to bed really easily, but then like on some of the group flights and stuff, it became like, and all the talent and the staff, and I'm just snoring. Like I would get any sleep that I could get to. If I can get an hour, that's an hour less I have to sleep at night, and I can get up an hour earlier and feel good. And like, so it was, I'd sleep on those plane rides whenever possible, if I wasn't listening to a book. And others were just like, "Oh, it's snore loud," and I'm sure that it's probably annoying, right, when it's not you. And but I would always be tired too. And when I came home off the road with WWE, this is one thing I noticed, and it was getting worse. Is I would get home, I'd get a full night's rest. Um, the first night home, I'd get home like Tuesday or a Wednesday morning. And this was when I was living in my apartment still before my home was built. And I would have to do media and things on my off days, and then on that one off day. And I remember being so dead tired that I would get up, eat, do the media rounds, however long. It could be a couple hours or 90 minutes or an hour, depending on how many they have for you that day. And then I would fall back asleep in my chair. I would be so tired and exhausted. And when I finally I was like, I'm gonna go get this checked out, and because someone had said you more of a risk of a heart attack, and like I've always been very health conscious, and I go as soon as I heard that, I go, I didn't realize that. I just thought I snored. I didn't know like what sleep apnea and all these health repercussions. And anyways, I had to go in on my day off, and at the center, I didn't do the home one. I had to go in for like 4 or 5 hours or 6 hours and sleep on my day off at night in the middle of the night and get hooked up to all the things, the electrodes. And I have at the time that was before my nose was fixed, so I couldn't even breathe through my nose at all with that. But it's mainly due to neck size with that, anyways. And I'm big on the neck development, and it's kind of a trade off, even though I've snored since I was a kid. But I had severe sleep apnea, and when I got that machine, I did not like it, and I would take it off almost every night. I would keep it on for an hour or two, and then I would take it off. And then if I had remembered, I would put it back on. But I started feeling a little better pretty quickly. And I go, man, I bet if I keep this mask on all night, like I'm gonna. And sure enough, that's what happened. And I don't nap. I sleep like a baby. I call it my Bane mask. Like it is. And even I got my nose fixed. I breathe even better. And I haven't. I actually we want to get another sleep study done to see if it's improved or not, or if it stayed the same. Or I would hope it would have gotten a little better, and I feel like it has because I could breathe through my nose most times now. But even though that's still at night, it's more your throat closing, and it doesn't matter if you're breathing from your mouth or nose. If your throat shuts at night with that, and they do. I know that when I got my ear and nose fixed, they were going to actually they were actually going to do the surgery. They were going to remove some of my neck tissue. And we actually had this scheduled on the same time. They were supposed to, the doctor wanted to do my nose and my sleep apnea at the same time. And it had I think it's like anywhere from 70 or 80% success rate, I think he said, of people that get that surgery done don't ever have to go back to the machine, that their sleep apnea is fixed. But there is the chance that it doesn't. But it's also a really invasive surgery in the sense of you have to be on a breathing machine when you get it done. And so the hospital and thank God they actually told me this, because I wasn't even thinking this, because they didn't tell me about the breathing machine because of all the inflammation and everything. They go, we highly recommend you don't do your nose, because they had to do my whole nose surgery so I could breathe through my nose. And he was going to do that back to back while I was out. And because you're going to not be able to breathe through your mouth or nose. You're going to be on a breathing machine. It's going to be very difficult. And so we canceled the nose was the priority. I go, no. And I go, I have no issue with the sleep apnea machine. And like, I've been told it's like, you can't eat for like 2 weeks. And it was like, where you've got to and I think I recover pretty quickly on things. And the doctor even goes, he goes, you're tough. Like, he goes, you're going to be eating pretty quick. And but I was just like, and I just haven't looked into it since. And I've heard other things from other people saying that the surgery isn't worth it. And then others that swear that it's, so I think it's hit or miss with it, but that would be what I would have to do. And I'm just like, maybe at some point, if the surgery becomes a little bit more advanced, which it should, maybe it already is, that then I will contemplate it. But I really don't mind the machine. And I've slept on planes since, and no one said anything about the snoring. And I think the snoring is not nearly as prevalent as it was, and as far as how bad it was. I'm not saying it doesn't not exist still, but I highly recommend anybody get it done. That if you think, and it will help a lot of people too. I was like, with like low testosterone, things improve hormonally with your sleep. And I just think it's one of those, it's a crazy thing, man. It's one of those things, if we didn't have the advancements in the medical field and with everything, people, not to say it, just if you're not, I would wake up all throughout the night and piss all the time. You're constantly body waking up because it's not getting the air that it needs. I never had like anything like waking up choking. That's why I never even knew. I didn't know I could feel even better with it. And but I know that based off that study, I had severe sleep apnea. So it's, but whereas if I wasn't able to get that, I would just be more at risk at some point, probably not living as long as I would having it. So, and not feeling as good. Thank you, Kitten, for coming by. Greatly appreciate it. I hope you have a great day also. Omar, you're getting tested this weekend. Yeah, brother. Do it, man. And it will change your life. It is, and you'll get used to the mask over time. I go with the full face mask over the nose and mouth. I've tried other ones, and it's just I like the full face mask. Everyone's different. Some people just like a nose piece. They breathe really good through their nose. They don't like it covered all over their face. I like the full face covering, which at first though I was a little like you can even be a little claustrophobic with it over your face, which I think a lot of people it can. But now it's like a sense of comfort because I feel so good with it, and you try the different things and see what you like, and I hope you don't have like super severe or anything like that, but you're doing the right thing. It's hard to be a vegan. I keep failing, I keep failing. I'll eat meat. The week starts off great, but by the end of the week, my craving becomes irresistible and cave. Well, that's fine, but brother, you're still being a lot healthier being plant-based or primarily plant-based with it. And there's different views on people, and like Rogan, Joe talks about this and the elk meat and eating the beef and the buffalo and really good cuts of meat, right? And I think if that with a high plant-based diet is, it's existed and people have survived off of that, right? And that's why all of life is essentially, all of life doesn't have to kill life. We just know that we can thrive on plants, but we do have people and it's different on our cravings. Like I love the taste of meat and chicken. I've said it even when I went vegan for 14 months, but it was like, I really do love and care about animals as well. I don't like our system with the factory farming on it, and like but like we just live on a planet of like I didn't make the rules either. Like life eats life and kills life, and you know, and I really think about this all the time. Like I had to kill. There's uh, a baby scorpion in my house the other day. I haven't seen one since I've lived here my whole life, and it was clearly it looked like a very very small baby skeleton or a scorpion skeleton, and I killed it. I stepped on it and killed it, and I didn't give it too much thought. I go, that thing is gonna if I let that go and it can kill one of my dogs or get me at night or whatever. If they have more, and I went and sprayed and with that, but I didn't hesitate, and but I because I knew I go that thing will become a threat at some point if I don't take care of it. So it's like you think about stuff like that, but at the same time you think about like innocent animals, and I just hate I hate the system with all of it. And I wish just the cruelty and things weren't, I wish the life didn't exist, but it does, unfortunately. But we know that we're healthier on a plant based diet. I know my performance is superior on a plant based diet. I know that physically, it does, as long as I get my protein from the other sources, I am that, and my endurance and everything is just superior with it. But that in little amounts doesn't seem to hurt. And research shows that like an 85% plant-based diet is essentially the same as vegan, which just tells me is just eat as much vegetables and plant-based foods and healthy foods, and eat the other stuff sparingly and add it in here and there if we're going to do it right. But try the plant-based, and over time hopefully the cravings get less and less. But I know from like the chicken wings, I have that same urge for chicken wings when I get it. And I went over, I think I went past the 14 months, but eventually at some point I had chicken wings after I added the eggs in with it. And I just go like, it's like, I love them. And I hate like that. I feel that way with it. And it's like, but I go and I just try to limit that as much as possible. And I've had times where I was craving them, and I saw a video that day and I'm like, I'm not doing it today. But I know a lot of other people are. And it's like, not perfect on it, but we thrive on it. But my thing is just try your best to keep consuming, because we are better with it. and get back on track and understand. I always say thank you for any of the food I consume, plant-based or animal-based, on it, and at least try, but we live in a cruel world and things, but don't beat yourself up too much. Just keep trying to be better, and you know that's all we can do. And as more options become available and more people have choices, and you know, but as an athlete and people are, I just heard, Cutler talking about, he said he ate more red meat when he competed because he felt fuller and just a little stronger. And like, I believe that, because we know he's really in tune with his body. I'm really in tune with my body, but I also know, like, but like, I value different things where I want to look as good as possible, but I want to be as athletic, and I want to have as much endurance as possible. So that's where I was like, man, I don't really notice any difference on from plants to, as far as the protein, but I notice a way better difference in blood flow and endurance, where like in recovery, where you feel like Superman, and where like things where I used to get fatigued and it would take a while to recover, like I recover like a superhuman now, and I'm just like, this is really cool. So my needs are a little different on that, where plant-based is more favored in that, from that endurance side, and I can still keep the size. But if you're in that industry and you got all the drugs, but you're really fine tuning where like every little muscle fiber counts, I would, I'm just saying, he knows his body would know that eating red meat, that he felt clearly it made a difference a little bit on that. Not saying he could build more muscle or anything, but he said he felt a little fuller, a little stronger, which that might contribute to more muscle. But you've got to then factor in heart disease and eating too much red meat. And then for health, how much of a priority? Health is the number one for me. So it really helps me make better decisions overall when you've got that like kind of life value system kind of in place as much as possible. But we're still going to do it and have it from time to time. But you don't, like I said, just try to just stay on course and stay strong. Absolutely. A lot of animals. And then too, and like I said, and I do the video I started last week, and I'm going to do another one that's not plant-based today. And I look at it as an opportunity, because I need to find a positive in it when I'm doing this, to try to get these views, to get this channel back kicking what it should be, or to give them even more to have more proof on for the stuff that, hey, something's going on here. That more people will hear my message, that will tune into that. And when I go and talk about the different health and fitness stuff, and the plant-based stuff, um and so my message can reach more people, hopefully, too, in that. And but it's I don't like the system, for sure, that we live in, and I don't think a lot of people do. And hopefully things continue to improve, and we could value and respect life as much as possible. Super chat. Sweet Sugar says, what would be scariest? Giant scorpions, giant tarantulas, or giant wasp? Jesus, Tyler, this is a difficult question. They're all bad. So there's not like there's a good answer here. I'll tell you though, those I would say what would be scariest is whatever dogs are allergic to. Because I don't really care. Like, if Sophie and little guy are in jeopardy, I whatever one is the least dangerous to a dog is what I'm gonna go with, Tyler. Yeah, someone's saying tarantulas. But you just imagine you get like thrown in a room, Chinese torture, just thrown in a room, and it's just like, then the thing opens and it just drops and just keeps dropping. Just thousands upon thousands, hundreds of thousands of tarantulas, and the room just starts filling up with tarantulas. And you're in there, and they just naked. They just throw you in there naked, and they just got done beating you up and slapping you, and then they do that and they drop that, or the wasp just start coming in, just buzzing your balls. Oh, there's just night. Those are the things nightmares are made of. Scorpions, just getting stung repeatedly, and then you fall into them and just consume you. I hate you, Tyler. That's a horrible thing to. Someone's gonna have nightmares of that. You want to know what one of the things I'll tell you that I can't watch videos where like people that go into like the little tight fit like like where like in caves where they go, what are they, there's a name for them, where people go explore under really tight things and people have gotten stuck and died under huge rock formations. Somebody will know the name of it. The people that do that, to me, I do not I do not know what is going through their heads. I have to the TikTok has tried showing me that. I instantly get it off. Like I go as quick as possible. I don't want them putting that on my For You page deal. I go, no, 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 no. Take back the second that it was even on my screen. I did not like this. Because I just people in like really tight, what's it, spelunking? Hold on, Aaron's. I'll get to it. Your super chat. But those people that go into the tight things like that, I don't know how they do it and or what the like the purpose of it is. Aaron, I got it now. Isn't the mask an issue when the big guy is trying to impress the ladies? No. And so here's the deal. Here's my suggestion on things when it comes to the sleep apnea mask. You do not tell them that you have that at the start. And as far as like, unless you're just beyond confident that everything is good, that then I wouldn't. I mean, so if you save that where and you've built everything up and you go on a date and if everything is going good and then and you know then by the time they get to your room, you've got them. They've already decided they're going to sleep with you, Aaron, with that. So then you're drastically your chances are ahead. Now you still got to go and you've got to that's another layer on it. Perform well. Then the mask is really it's not that big of a deal. That Bane mask is pretty cute. I like that. It's very quiet. Thank you. But you rather than like you just meet somebody you Aaron you're on Tinder and you have it in your profile. You're like warning disclaimer. I have sleep apnea. I wear a mask in bold letters, but you have other stuff in there. So like some of the people that swipe right on it, you think are like cool that, but they really didn't see it. So like, and then like first thing you do, like when you're on a phone call, you're like, "Hey Teresa, what's going on?" And like she's like, "Hey, how are you?" "I've got sleep apnea." Like you don't like start off with it, and you don't talk about it as a bad thing. It's not that big of a deal. It's cool. You look better, you feel better, you perform better. You're well rested. The machines these days are completely very, very quiet, very soothing, might I add, for the person sleeping next to you. Yeah, sure, there's a huge mask on my face and a little tube that runs over to the counter, but hey, I feel good. And if you make them feel good, everything is a-okay. Just don't start off, though, saying you've got sleep apnea. I've got a great photo of me on a plane. Me and Ziggler took, which Ziggler's in town with Justin Roberts. I'm supposed to go see them today. Hopefully, after I get done with all my stuff, I've got to do a feeding time. I've got to do a huge workout, get changed, and try to shoot down there so I can go eat with them and see them before Dolph has a thing at 7. So I've got to get done with my stuff today. I'm trying not to fave them on this one because I haven't seen them the last few times I've been out here. So stay tuned. Hopefully, we got some pictures with them. And with that, I probably should. We're already going a little. Yeah, we're gonna wrap up today's show, guys. I've got to get all my stuff done here. And the no show tomorrow. I've got a lot of work on my shoulder across town tomorrow, and I'll probably be back for a Sunday show, and then we'll have a new feeding time that will be out dropped on Monday. On that, the new feeding time, which I got to do right after this here, and either Popeyes or Taco Bell, most likely the new ghost pepper wings or their crispy melt taco deal from Taco Bell. We'll see. I'll probably go the the ghost pepper wings from Popeyes. And but we'll be back Sunday, feeding time Monday, and then Ryback shows Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, most likely for the upcoming week. And I like the schedule that I'm doing right now, and where I think we can keep this up reasonably with everything and with what I've got going on. So I thank you guys all for your time and for listening. Please hit that subscribe if you haven't, and turn on those notifications. Sorry, making sure my back screen is staying lit with that. And check out my Feed Me More Nutrition, feedmemore.com. All those codes and the savings are in the description and the comments on that on YouTube, guys. And until next time, my friends, stay hungry. Feed me more.
Hey, Rybackers, don't forget to hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and shell shock those notifications. For the best supplements on the planet with Feed Me More Nutrition and all the latest cool new Ryback merch, visit feedmemore.com.